So a few months ago, back in the good old days of college, my malware analysis teacher showed our class how to use double file extensions to evade detection. If you're unaware of what a double file extension is, it's when you rename a file so that it has two file extensions, such as .docx, .txt, and what it takes advantage of is the file explorer setting to show or hide file name extensions. So, for example, I created a test document right here. The actual file name is test.docx.txt, and it's a text document. But since file name extensions are not shown here, all you see is test.docx. Now, you could still see the file type right here, but if you just look over here, you may think, hey, it's possibly a Word document. So if this box is checked, you would see the actual extension, but since it is not, then you do not. So my teacher clicked on an executable that was disguised as a docx file, as a Word doc file, and the malware performed its actions, but obviously it wasn't a Word document, it was an executable. It had the double extension .docx.exe. So I thought, well, if somebody clicks on it, then they'll immediately know it's not a Word doc, um, because Word isn't opening. And that made me think of something is what if you could create the executable in a way that it opens a Word doc to further try to disguise itself as not being malware and to play along with the theme of being a Word document. So now that I have some time to kill, I decided to do a little project to create malware that does this. Took a little longer than expected to figure out how to do it, but it was a cool learning experience and it was interesting. So for the project, I also added some different tricks. The first thing I did is I used the help of ChatGPT to create a fake conditional job offer email and also a conditional job offer letter. And then I embedded the contents of that job offer letter in the malware so that it could create a Word document and open it with Word while it's executing. And then it could go off and perform other tasks, but just to make itself look like an actual Word document. And then I sent the malware to a password protected zip file to evade scanning by Google Drive. I uploaded it to Google Drive, and then I included the Google Drive link in the job offer email. So I took some screenshots of the different steps that I took to make it. This is the base chat GPT prompt I did for the email, but of course I had to make changes because it didn't fill out a candidate name. It didn't fill out the name of the person who was sending it. So I had to add additional prompts to edit the offer letter to make it look more realistic and also had to fill out some of my own info or for the offer email. And then I also did a chat GPT prompt for the offer letter and then had to go in and fill this stuff out, applicant name, addresses, and all that good stuff. Uh, and then after creating this offer letter Word document on my computer, I had to find a way to embed the contents within the C file, within my malware file. And I haven't worked with doing stuff like that before, and it was a little more challenging than I expected because normally when I've created C files that like read or write to files, it's working with text documents or something like that. So you can just straight up write to the file, um, like, hi, this is a test file or something. It's not the case with Word documents because if you want the Microsoft Word application to actually open it, then it needs to be in the format of a Word document. It has to have a header. It has to have fields for metadata and such. So I couldn't just create a file named like company offer letter Ryan Smith docx and write the offer letter contents to it. I had to do some additional research, and I found a tool named XXD that does exactly what I needed it to do. It created, or with the TAC-I option, it creates a C-style byte array of the contents of a file that you pass it. So that worked out perfectly for me. And not only that, but it gives you the length of the file in bytes right here. So it makes it easier to write this byte array to a newly created file. Now, another problem that I had when uh, creating malware before, like if you look at my other video on my YouTube channel where I created a keylogger, you could see that a console window pops up and I had it hide itself. Well, that's not really ideal because you still see the console window pop up, and people who are trained to recognize that can be like, oh, yeah, that's probably suspicious. So I was wondering how to make malware that doesn't have anything pop up, and I came across the idea of creating a GUI with no GUI. And by that, I mean I compiled the executable as a GUI application, so it doesn't open up a console window, but there's no graphical aspect to my malware. So basically, you don't see what happens when it does its stuff, which is exactly what I wanted. Let's see. So I have the contents of the file right here. I just literally copied and pasted that byte array of the Word doc in here. Let's see what else is important. Okay, so created a file named company offer letter generic name .docx, and I I used the length and bytes that it gave of the file, one chunk of 15955 bytes to that file um, from the array, which is this, kind of confusing to look at, but I just copied and pasted it. And then opened the newly created file with Word. And then for the purpose of demonstrating how the malware can go off and do other stuff when it's executed, I placed a file named password file in the same directory where the malware was executed and just had it like read the contents of that file and write it to a new file. I mean, in reality, it could read files and send the contents to a remote server, but I did not do that at the moment. So, yeah, that's the pretty simple code. Now, for delivering this malware, I uh, sent the file to a 7-zip archive and uh, gave it a password so the contents would be encrypted. And I also selected to encrypt file names because, from what I recall, if you uh, if you're trying to extract a 7-zip archive, it'll show you the name of the file that you're trying to extract. And I did not want to give away the name of the file because the name of the actual file, the executable, is company offer letter Ryan Smith .docx.exe. And by encrypting the file name, it just is one more step to evade detection. So it doesn't, the name of the file you're extracting doesn't show up. So yeah, and then this is the email that ChatGPT and I generated together. Conditional offer email for cybersecurity position. Good job, Ryan Smith. And it mentions the link to the job offer letter, and it also gives you the password to unzip it right here. And let's see. So after going to the Google Drive link, it gives you this message when you try to download it, tells you it's encrypted, because it doesn't have the password to decrypt it. It says, do you want to download it anyway? And maybe if you're anxious for a job offer or something, then you'll click download anyway, especially since the person who sent the email uh, told you that it was password protected. And if you wanted to take it a step further, you could spoof the sender email. So that would have been better. Let's see. So yeah, and after downloading that, that led me to this part, which is having the 7-zip file to extract. So I'm gonna close out of this and extract the archive. Let's see. So it says the type is application, but as you can see, because file name extensions are hidden, it says company offer letter ryansmith.docx. The icon is that of an executable, and I tried to change that with the tool Resource Hacker to be an icon related to a Word document, but it did not interpret the executable properly, and I have to do some additional research to figure why that is. But anyway, let's say you're up at like 4 a.m. and you're like, hey, got a job offer. Well, you know what? Good job, Ryan Smith. Let's open up your Word doc offer letter. Opens up Word, and you got a Word doc that opened up. Now, obviously, you uh there or what's it called? Creates an actual where is it? An actual Word document, so that'll raise suspicion. But I mean, you could have instead of creating the Word document in the same directory, you could put it in some directory people don't check as much. Uh, if they make any modifications to this, it won't reflect in this because it's not a Word document. So um, it's not perfect, but hey, maybe if somebody saw this offer letter open up and they ran off and did something for 10 minutes, then your malware could take extra steps. So yeah, just some stuff to think about. It was a cool little project, and I hope you guys learned something useful. Thanks for watching.